Hello there and welcome to another fine edition of Slow as Fuck Gaming with me, the Iron Rayonics. And this one was a requested video by one of my friends. He wanted to see how Takeda plays and fares out in the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1. And of course it's the Nintendo Switch version because it's, well, as mentioned already, haha funny, slow as fuck gaming, and the graphics looking kind of like shit. Apparently I was playing this game for the past almost a year already the wrong way. What do I mean by that? Apparently, the the illumination on this was wrong. I was playing really with the saturation a bit more brighter than it should be. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So now it looks as proper as it does in other versions of the game. So yeah, no, it's a pretty cool thing to notice. Anyways, let's get started with this movable feast. Why did I randomly quote The Lost World? It's time to take the electricity pill, my friend. This basically makes us resistance. Why? Because seasonal towers in Mortal Kombat 1 have this bullshit feature where there's an elemental constant attached to it. And this elemental constant causes the game to just go, we are going to beat the hell out of you unfairly. And what are those green crystals in my inventory? These allow me to get a quick revive whenever I'm in trouble. So, we're going to be fighting, and our last boss of the tower is, fittingly enough, Shang Tsung. Although for myself, I'm playing without music. I'm going to, of course, just be playing some of my custom tracks, and explaining a bit of what we're going to be doing here today. Because, yeah, no, I've been wanting to do some more gaming content for a long while, and I figured, what better game than Mortal Kombat 1, since this has been my obsession as of late, as of the past year since I've gotten my Switch. And, I just wanted to showcase how far the game's gone.
You took good care of it, I hope.
I love this skin so much, the UMK3 reptile skin. It's a really good skin. I like playing with him, although I personally now have him with one of the reptilian skins you get in the Season of the Reptile. I think it was the Hunter or something like that. Season of the Man-Eater. I'm very much so repetitive with my combos, so yeah. Another thing I want to make sure or point out is that from now on we are going to be making a bit more actual content. Reason is I'm going to be moving out of my home soon and hopefully searching for another place. Until that happens, I've pretty much already packed up because I'm a very preemptive person. My parents pointed out that even when I was young I used to do that as well. So I've pretty much packed up all my shit. And yeah, no, we are no longer going to be making toy videos unless I get new ones. But the point is, we are no longer going to be seeing comparisons between figures I get. You know, like, oh, here it is next to this other line and stuff like that, because it's all boxed up. There are still some stuff I'm going to be buying at the end of this year. There's still a lot of Figure Arts Ultraman stuff I want to get, specifically the renewals for Orb and Zero. But a lot of people, I assume this video might attract more general audiences too, if you don't know what I'm talking about. And welcome to the channel. I am a collector. I like buying toys. I like buying Japanese stuff, you know? That's about it. That's the best way I can put it. But now on to the main topic of the video, the Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat. I've been playing this since December, I believe, when I got the Switch. Well, I got the Switch actually in late November. But I didn't get a SD card where I could probably, you know, put all my games in until much later. And, what's it called? And because of that, I didn't start playing Mortal Kombat 1 until, I guess, starting this year or maybe late December. I'm really forgetting a lot. So, and also I'm trying to concentrate on being the shit out of Liu Kang over here. Which, if you notice, again, as part of the seasonal towers thing, the constants are really unfair, where some characters just kind of don't phase to your attacks. But, going back to the topic in hand, I believe this game is really improved for the better. The graphics are as decent as you can get for Switch. So I'm never really going to complain about this sort of stuff, honestly. Because I'm a person who likes having games accessible and on the go. In fact, probably by the end of this year, I might move to the actual like mainline version of the game if I get a portable PC console, which is more preferable to play, you know, these type of games. But otherwise, I am very much enjoying the Switch because it comes with, just to kind of go sideline on a rant for pro Switch propaganda, I like having access to a lot of the same games I play on my PC that aren't really demanding. And yeah, no, it's really fun like that. And as for Mortal Kombat on the Switch, I played this and 11. And 11 is definitely a bit more, I guess, visually pleasing. 11 is the one that a lot of people are saying, oh, well, this one looks better on the Switch. You know, how could they do that and not this? You know, again, I think it's because of it was a rush job. And apparently it's also very much known that Nintendo pretty much bought the company that made this port. So they might as well have a hand in assuring the quality for future ports or stuff like that. It's kind of an interesting part of that. And I'm all for it. Call me conformistic, call me a shill. You're open to, and I can see why I would be perceived as such. But otherwise, I am really much a fan of Mortal Kombat on the Switch. I hope that with the upcoming update, by the time of recording this, Khaos Reigns has not come out. There has been a major overhaul, hopefully. Not graphically, but some visual bugs that afflict some of the skins. For some reason, the classic ninja skins, be it the UMK3 ones or the MK95 ones, have a lot of visual issues, and it's very strange. Even for a while, the classic Deadly Alliance Sub-Zero had some issues, and it's really strange. Maybe there's like some sort of constant or code that prevents it from doing so, and they have to do something. I don't know. And this is not slowdown. This is a magic effect that some characters like Kung Lao, Melina, and Sindel apply onto you, where you start slowing down. It's really annoying, and it really messes up your streak. That's why I'm pretty much cheating by having a lot of like support this time around, because I've actually beaten these towers in the past season without using a lot of these hacks and modifications. Well, not, you know, illegal hacks and modifications, but like, you know, the ones that the game kind of recommends you to use for spending invasion currency, and you don't have to spend real money for those, of course, but you do have to grind a lot for it, and you unknowingly do so, and it's really fun. But there is a point where you finally start to realize, like, yeah, I gotta start using them. Unless you are a person who likes stats overmaxing, which is basically when you use your stats that you gain as you level up to be able to proceed. I'm going to spam Mavado's fatality a lot because I like doing that. I will do one of Takeda's in a bit. Don't worry. Don't worry. And if you're asking me, why don't you censor it? A lot of people don't censor their versions. This is only really, I think, for people who really like to, what's it called? Monetize their videos, you know? Monetize their videos. I say a lot of cuss words. You guys know me. And at this point, I don't give a shit. I do videos for the entertainment of myself and for those who watch me. I don't care about gaining money from this. So for me, it's not an issue. And besides that, it's the Nintendo Switch version. The fatalities here look like dog shit. Well, the general perception, that is. For me, they look decently gory enough. I don't want to, I may be fucked up, but I don't want to see all the blood and guts and detail of the person I just beat the shit out of, you know, in full glory. That's, we're not that type of channel here. But, yeah. The plan originally as well for this playthrough was that I was going to record the story mode shortly after finishing Takeda's gameplay. However, I'm starting to think that I'd rather actually do the story mode when Khaos Reigns drops. Why would I do that? Because maybe if we consider there's like a graphical overhaul or something that has changed, and as the way that the performance of the game goes, maybe I'd want to showcase that. Even though my capture card is a cheap, you know, the one that I showcased a few videos ago, it's a cheap Chinese one. It's really good though. This game runs at perfect 60 FPS, and I'm recording at 30 FPS. And even then there's a bit of like a delay. So it's just kind of like, you probably can't tell It's just very simplistic, you know. So it's kind of something that I'm not the best equipped to showcase, but at the same time, hey, if you want to drop in and see for yourself and have some fun, you're all welcome. What's called, that's the purpose of these videos as well. But yeah, no, if you want to see like perfect 60 FPS footage of Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch, either play it yourself or but that's not like the point of me recommending it, or find another channel that could properly display it. You know, there's a lot of channels that either do the gameplay itself or recording from their camera onto the little Switch. But point is, where I was going, I'm going to end up making a playthrough of the story mode along with Khaos Reigns because of that, because as well, I want to extend the capacity of making more Let's Play content on this channel. And I felt, what better game than Mortal Kombat 1? I actually recorded a Let's Play of the Switch version of Guardian Tales, and I know a lot of people would probably go like, what the fuck is that? Or who the hell cares, you know? But, again, to add more content onto the Switch content I'm going to be making here, I haven't edited it yet, but it was one of the most funnest gacha games, because I never expected to be so in love with a gacha game. You know, because it's technically gaming slop. It's mobile gaming slop. You're wailing, etc. But it's one of the more, what's it called, generous ones. Along with Guardian Tales, other Switch games I want to be playing are of course, the Castlevania collections they've released. They recently released the Dominus collection, and the DS Castlevania games are some of my favorite games ever. As well as, I also bought a bunch of Kaiju games, because that's, you guys know me, this is a tokusatsu channel, first and foremost. Also, mostly just kaiju because I'm more into monsters. I've bought games like Giga Bash, Dawn of the Monsters, Ultra Kaiju, Monster Rancher, I think it was, or Monster Rancher Ultra Kaiju Edition, something like that. Stuff like that, because I've wanted to do also more content leaning towards that, as well as the Mugen projects I make and stuff like that. It's really just a fun thing. Oh, I think we're about to end so soon? We're already about to reach Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung was towards the end. Or maybe I'm celebrating too soon, you know? And in reality, there's another Shang Tsung. Because, again, there's a thing with these towers where enemies get repeated. And it's funny, it's kind of inconvenient, but it's overall something to just consider. Rain is very annoying to play as if you are a fire type, because his water attacks remove so much health from you, it's not even funny. Yeah, look at that shit. That is bullshit. Oh my god. Okay, but luckily he cheaped himself out. So let's not celebrate too soon though. Bro, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you using Darius? Also, as to what my general thoughts on Mortal Kombat 1 are, just to kind of just continue segueing into sections of this game, I am personally a big fan. The story mode, I think, is lacking in potential. I love watching this channel called The Fourth Snake. He always talks about the missed potential, as he puts it, of Mortal Kombat storylines. And one of my favorite ones is, just in general, there needs to be more 3D era representation. And I couldn't agree more. You know? I couldn't agree more. So, oh my god, I can't do any of these for some reason. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. So let's do Belly Pop. Okay, he saved himself from doing that. But yeah, no, there's I think the story, without going too much into detail, I think there could have been more aspects of classic Mortal Kombat lore that was reinterpreted for the new era that could have worked out a lot more better if better executed here, you know? For example, the timeline battle at the end of the story mode. I think it would have worked best if, instead of just having the same repeated Union of Light and Order of Darkness skins that appear over and over again during that battle, like it's very repeated, we could have had a glimpse of all these classic skins that we get actually in the story mode. I mean, and yeah, that we get later on in the premium store, actually have them appear in the story mode. I think that would have been cool. And yeah, as I predicted, that is not the main Shang. That is a faker. This is a normal new era Shang Tsung. The final boss is a Titan one. But yeah, no, I feel like it could have benefited more from that, you know? What if we saw actually the classic versions of these characters, not just the reinterpreted ones? I feel like also just maybe some of the alternate skins, the base ones you get for free by Mastery or the Titan battles, are kind of unnecessary. I think they're just unnecessary because some of them are just kind of redesigns that are just kind of just forced. And I don't mean forced in a very specific way that many people would use. I mean forced in the sense that they just feel very unnecessary as a way of like, oh, we're going to depict this character in a new light. And for some it works. For example, Shang Tsung of the Order of the Union of Light. It's interesting to see a world where, or think of a world where Shang Tsung is a good guy. Maybe he's the champion of Earthrealm or Outworld, or he's fighting against the forces of the Netherrealm and stuff like that. But at the same time, you think, hey, what if instead of designing a new good guy Shang Tsung, we use the only known instance of a quote-unquote good guy Shang Tsung, because some of his skins still have like evil names in them to kind of imply that the Union of Light Shang Tsung might not be that good. He's just probably fighting on the good side for the, I guess, benefit of himself. What if instead we had Mortal Kombat 9 Shang Tsung? If you guys remember his tower ending, he becomes a good guy unwillingly because he's about to like commit a DC squad, you know, he's about to commit that. And then Boraicho finds him like, no, worry not, young warrior. I will teach you to control your powers and shit, you know? And it's pretty interesting because he teaches him, and for what purpose? Liu Kang has become the fire god of evil, and Shang Tsung has to fight him. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. You know? I think, and that's just like a bigger issue that maybe other people have covered. I think the multiverse of Mortal Kombat is actually a huge missed potential in itself, because a lot of the tower endings we see could very much well be re-explored via the multiverse in Mortal Kombat 1. Which is, again, even though I like this game, I think that's my only gripe with it. It doesn't use the multiverse to its full advantage, you know? As mentioned, the Mortal Kombat 9 endings, there's so many of them where so many cool and interesting things happen that it would be nice to see them follow up with this. The same with the endings of the classic games from the 3D era, from the arcade era. And I understand that the whole reason is that it's actually intended, all the alternate timelines were spawned up from, were spawned up from 11's tower endings, you know? And I understand that. You know, in a way it implies that there was only one singular timeline for a while, the retconned one and stuff like that. And also the game is slowing down actually on itself. It's no longer running smoothly for some reason. Probably Melina's fault. Oh, because she's a boss character, yeah. So it's not running as smoothly as it should. But also, what's it called? To imply that, because if we go by the Four Snakes videos and some of the stuff he tweets of interesting Mortal Kombat stuff, it's kind of very much so implied that a lot of other universes were created after 11. So the Threshold continuity, which is the 90s movie, TV show, cartoon, that's all post 11, you know, and that kind of explains why it's weird. It's also been implied that the DC crossover universe was in between timelines. So I like to think that it's actually the one that happens before 9, because some of those designs you get to see them in the Armageddon scene at the beginning of 9. It's an interesting way to see it, so that way you can assume that maybe Armageddon ended the way it should have, but then maybe something happened that ended up resetting the timeline anyways. And then we got the DC Universe timeline, which is a prototype of the NRS stuff, you know? Because a lot of the designs there were remixed into 9 for what we saw, you know? A lot of them are very samey in the faces or in the style of the look, etc. But yeah, no, I just think, without going too much of on a nerd rant and talking about how much I love the multiverse shit, because I know a lot of people don't like the multiverse concepts in media nowadays. It's overdone, yes. You can tell that Mortal Kombat is doing it as a fad, but at the same time, they've done it before, in a way, sorta, along with time travel before it was popular. So I think a lot of people, it is kind of obvious. There's a lot of, like, I guess, rage baiting and culture war over this game, and a lot of modern games that of course may have find themselves entranced or in cahoots with this sort of thing. But then there's some instances where I think just people are way too reactionary and just throwing like fancy words or buzzwords at things that clearly are not made with that intent. So it's just, one of them is basically just calling, oh, Mortal Kombat nowadays is trend hopping on shit that is popular. Like, yes, that is true, but they do it in their own way that has been done before, and I think it still has very much so the characteristic Mortal Kombat style. Like, yeah, no, I'm just again, I'm just a huge shill for this franchise. I love it. Even the entry that people don't like, I like them. Like, for example, I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat 9 storyline, but as anyone else, I am a fan of the gameplay. The designs are not so much. I'm not a big fan of the designs of Mortal Kombat 9. Whenever I see people, whenever I see people engaging in rage bait posts or complaining and stuff like that, and they say, oh, the last true Mortal Kombat game was 9, or that's where the designs peak. I think that's such a tourist take, because you can sometimes find out this person probably didn't care for the 3D era, only thinks of the arcade era, and probably still, I guess, what's called tolerated X to an extent, or 9, or 11, I mean, 11. Because it's kind of interesting that suddenly people are turning against, you know, well, not suddenly, when 1 was announced, or 1 came out, there was this huge instance of people suddenly vindicating 11. And I remember back when 11 came out, people were like, this game sucks, this is like the end of Mortal Kombat, it's lost its essence, and it's just like, how much longer are we going to keep doing the same rodeo, you know? That's why, again, even if it's a less favorable one, I really like Mortal Kombat for what it is. And even if it has its ups and downs, it's a franchise I like and I wouldn't want to see fail. But even though there are some shitty practices, like some of the productions parts of 11, you guys know the whole fatalities controversy, or the microtransactions practice here, that it seems like they're finally addressing with Khaos Reigns coming soon. And as well, they've been already addressing as the year progressed of this game. And so on. So I have so many gripes and stuff like that with Mortal Kombat. Like, again, I mentioned the designs have been really unappealing for me in the NRS era. Also, this bit of dialogue is so weird. Chameleon is not as a Terran, but she is a Zorian. Maybe what they're referring to, that she's a, what's it called? Like, she's a Saurian that wasn't born in Satara? I don't know. But point is, yeah, no, where I was going, the designs in the NRS era weren't really that appealing for me. I think one of Scorpion's worst designs is probably the base one that you get in gameplay, not the human one, in 11. Right paired up with X's. I'm not a big fan of that whole medieval look he's got going on. I'm a fan of the whole, like, I guess, 90s retro ninja look he's got in the UMK3, in 4, and Armageddon. That's a big example, you know? Because a lot of people like to point out specifically, oh, the ladies, you know, what about the ladies? Actually, I'm a big fan of Melina's look in X and in 1. Not a big fan of her look in 11. I think it could use a better design. Those skins were really appealing. Maybe the Shao Kahn derived one is pretty cool, because I like when other characters loosely cosplay him. Hence why I have Reiko in this game with a Shao Kahn type helmet. And of course, consistently I've liked Kitana a lot, although I do think it's kind of weird they've been Chun-Li-ifying her, if you get what I mean. Just very specific costume choices and alts or hairstyle that they give her. You'll notice it a lot if you know what I'm talking about. But for me, her design peaked at the end of the 3D era. She looked very much so inspired by the movie version with the whole, like, I guess, tight suit, but tactical tight suit. You know, stuff like that. And so on. So again, I'm not very judgmental in that end of like, oh, this design doesn't appeal to me, so therefore the franchise is dead. For me, it's just like, I'm glad there's alts that are more favorably looking. And that's it. You know, I really like that sort of stuff. It's something that I really enjoy. For example, in this game, a lot of people complain about the designs in this game, and I agree with a lot of those complaints. For example, Li Mei's alts are kind of eh. Her main skin is cool, and her classic skin is kind of just disappointing since it's an unfaithful recreation. And that's my only point of it. And it's not that anything external had to do with anything. In fact, some of the other classic skins are kind of unfaithfully recreated. And that's like just a general issue. Again, for more, watch Fourth Sneak's video on classic skins. It's a pretty cool subject. But otherwise... Oh, let's see if we can do Mavado's brutality. Let's go. Oh, wait, no, we're not done yet? Okay. I guess I was too distracted talking. But yeah, no, a lot of the classic skins are kind of just like, some of the arcade era ones, you'll notice they are faithfully recreated. They have some liberties, but they still look decent. While the 3D era ones, they took a lot of liberties to the point where it's like, what's the point, you know? And kind of interesting because if they were like original skins that are inspired by classic looks, I would not have an issue. Because literally, someone pointed out that the Earthrealm Katana skin is a bit of a reference to Melina and Katana's looks from Deception. You know, that very sexy looking one. And I'm like, that's a cool way of modernizing that design, you know? You attract fans of the old, you bring in new ones. It's a neat middle ground without having to sacrifice, I guess, one audience you're marketing to, you know? And maybe along the road you offer the classic one for people who really want that, you know? But it's a really neat way of modifying them. I really like Order of Darkness Smoke because he looks like a half cyberized version, and he really blends well with the new Sector and Cyrax, who are half Iron Woman lady, you know? And the aesthetic really goes well with it. I really like that. Let's see what else. Because I'm just yapping. What if instead of Yap Dollar was Freak Dollar? And instead of Mortal Kombat 1 gameplays, I touched. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. What's it called? Yeah, no, about character design. So again, I'm just grateful we got alts that I very much so enjoy looking at. Cool alts because, for example, if I want a Lime that looks a bit traditional, her Order of Darkness skin is really cool. I really like that design. For Melina, I like her Order of Darkness skin too, but her upcoming Empress skin is really cool looking too. Someone pointed out that one also looks like it's a modernization of her 3D era look. And again, that's like a pretty neat one. For Scorpion's designs, well, he's Kuai Liang now, so he has to have something new to offer. His Order Union of Light skin is honestly one I can get behind. Okay, I gotta lock in. I gotta lock the fuck in. Okay, I gotta lock in. Oh yeah, no, for his Order of Union of Light skin is pretty cool because it kind of reminds me of samurai aesthetic. I assume that's a samurai version of Hanzo. But his Order of Darkness skin is a pretty cool remix, the Inferno Scorpion or something like that. No, Hellfire Scorpion I think it's called. And it's a pretty neat design. But, as I mentioned, I'm a more big fan of the Retro Scorpion from UMK3. So I mained that one. Although I was maining the movie one for a long while because I love that design a lot. It's pretty cool. And I could go on and on and on and on about designs, you know? Point is, I'm just making it clear to you, new audience, or people who might be interested in what my take on Mortal Kombat is. I'm a very neutral person. I enjoy this game for what it is. I'm glad that it offers so many features, and I'm glad that it's improving and that NetherRealm is listening to fan feedback, you know? It's something interesting. I guess my only gripes is maybe the DLC characters are kind of you know? And I mean by this, it's kind of infuriating that, you know, the ones that were in the story mode plus Takeda are so damn good compared to the rest, you know? They feel like they should have been in the game from the get-go and maybe let some space for actual other characters to join in, you know? Because Takeda, look how much fun I'm having with him right now. We breezed through this tower as if it was nothing, you know? And yeah, no, because I'm not a big fan of the superheroes they added. I'm not too much into the boys. I watched a few seasons and I'm like, I actually did catch up with it, you know. But I'm not a big fan of it. I think it just overstayed its welcome in a way. With Invincible, it's cool. Kind of disappointed you gotta wait for another half of the season, but it has kind of fucked up the whole animation stuff that went on with it. So best of luck to them. It's a very entertaining storyline. It's more than just your evil Superman storyline. You know, it's more than just that. I guess the same could be said about the boys. You know, each to their own. If you like it, that's cool. That's cool. I definitely like aspects of these shows. You know, I definitely like a lot of aspects. You know, the boys, I like the fight choreography in a lot of them. You know, and there's also things to dislike. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. And then for Peacemaker, I think he's cool, but it's very blatant. He pretty much replaces RoboCop, which is my next point. There's this, like, I know people got really angry at this years ago when, you know, when Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out, and one of the guys said, oh, who cares that we didn't include this other character, who pretty much said he was a glove shadow, and in reality, these characters are functions. And that's something he is right about. Characters are functions. Notice how Baraka was replaced by the Xenomorph in MK, what's his name? MKX, oh, why did I phase it out? And so on. There's other characters that kind of just phase it out, and that's happened since the 3D era, you know? Kano got replaced by both Jarek and Su Hao, and what's his name? Cabal got replaced by Movado and stuff like that. It is a very valid point, and that's the same thing that happens here, you know? So in a way, Peacemaker is kind of replacing RoboCop, and RoboCop was sort of already a replacement for the Cyber Ninjas themselves. And now you got Conan coming up soon, and he's very much so a replacement for what's his name, Conan the Barbarian, and so on. It's a very cool thing. So, I guess cool or bad depending on what it is. I do agree that there's a lot of gripe over past characters not coming back, and I do agree that's very, very sad. I think it'd be better if we had a big cast of mostly Mortal Kombat characters, you know, finish up like the important ones along with ones that have been not seen in a long while that are very much so fan favorites, and then add in whatever side character you want. Although personally I'm a big fan of when the guest star is horror adjacent, even if it's a sci-fi horror. Maybe sci-fi adventure is good, but I think horror is better. It just fits with the tone, you know. It makes Mortal Kombat more unique that way. Come over here. There you go, there you go, there you go. Stomp on his head! And there we go, we finished this tower. I guess I yapped a lot today. I was supposed to be focusing on the gameplay, and I ended up enjoying this way too much. It is a really fun game, I admit. It's just so damn good. And we didn't even finish Takeda's Mastery, only 1mm. But we've unlocked the Dragon Fist Johnny Cage skin, as well as some bonuses. But that concludes the seasonal tower, and that concludes the season of the Soul Stealer. Again, I mostly just yapped a lot, just to give my opinions on things, fill you in on a lot of upcoming stuff that's coming up, and most of the fun stuff. If you want me to upload a normal Takeda gameplay, I probably will. If there's, I guess, if someone really wants it without me yapping. But otherwise, I intend on putting a lot of my personality into these videos as much as possible, because yeah, no. And if people are asking, isn't there more after this? Like, why is there more levels? I guess that's more for people who just want to continue mastering their characters. Otherwise, there's no more rewards left. So let's actually check out our skin that we just acquired, while I continue, I guess, elaborating more on stuff. But yeah, no. Functions as characters, you know. And stuff, yada yada. Otherwise, the roster in this game, I think I'm very satisfied with it. You know, it's a lot of 3D era reps. Maybe in the story mode they weren't as well represented, but hopefully they get vindicated in another expansion, or just in general, just cool stuff, you know. At least they're fun to play as. But let's go into Johnny Cage's palettes. My basic Johnny Cage is the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, because I'm very much a fan of this look. I specifically have him in this look because it's a reference to Bloodsport, this specific coloration. And yeah, Wuxi Dragon Fist. Apparently the Wuxi Academy skin for Kenshi is arriving soon with Khaos Reigns as part of those Towers of Time rewards, which is pretty cool. Isn't that awesome? But yeah, no, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Without elaborating more on my thoughts, you know, so on. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I am the Iron Rayonix, Kuoda, Giga, however you want to call me, and thanks for watching.